Hello everybody, Floppy Hat Photos back here again for another Idiot's Guide to Marathon Running. And today is Saturday, May 3rd, and I'm heading home, wrapped up my 5th marathon of my 12 in 2014 I'm planning on doing. And today was surprisingly a really weird overall run for me. I'm going to give you a list of reasons why it went bad, and then at the end I'm going to actually tell you what I believe the true reason was and the overall deal of it. Starting off, I had a handful of little things that were kind of bugging me that's amazing you don't think about so much until you start running by yourself for 26.2 miles, and then it really starts weighing on your mind a lot more. One of them was a pulled taste bud on the tip of my tongue, about a 1/4 inch back, and it hurt like hell, and every time I'd bump it against the roof of my mouth or a tooth, it would just shear some pain. And it's amazing how quickly, when you're basically running that far and you're bored and you're just nothing really distracting you but that can really weigh on you. And I think that was part of the issue from the start. I really felt odd. I've just been, I don't know, that right there kind of bugged me quite a bit. Issue number 2 that could have been a part of the problem. I forgot to pack my compression proper running shorts for my underwear, and unfortunately I always keep a spare set in my bag, and all of them I had were in the washer today, so I didn't bother taking I didn't mess with finding another pair, I guess, because I knew I had a spare set in my gym bag like I always do. Unfortunately, because I hadn't done the laundry yet yesterday, I used my spare set. So I was running in my regular daily underwear, which was definitely not fun. They're not a water wicking away type situation, and part of me wonders I'll be better off just freewheeling it and going commando there. I end up with a lot of moisture, end up with some saddle sores, ended up with some inner thigh chafing going on. There's a whole bunch of issues right there, and that right there got into my head and really sucked quite a bit in the process of why I did not finish well in this little adventure today on my marathon. Number 3, it came off, it was windy and blowing a lot of wind in my face, and it warmed up and got rather hot really quick. And when you have the extra wind, it really helps dehydrate you a lot faster. And my dogs, you can see, you can kind of see him back there, you see his collar anyway. He was with me, so I was giving him lots and lots of water because he's a black dog. And the first part of the marathon run, there was a little bit of shade, probably the first 3 or so miles, and then there was no shade all the way out and back. I mean, I'd say maybe 10% of the time, if that, there was shade. Maybe 5% of the time there was shade. Hardly any shade at all. And I was giving him tons and tons of water. That right there was a big part of the problem. I ended up running out of water on the way over there. I had dropped off and hid some water over in Carlisle, which I couldn't find a good spot to hide it, so I actually took it into an ice cream place there called Fizz's, and actually asked one of the people there, hey, can you guys just set this back behind the counter somewhere? I stopped in there, got my water bottles, refilled my hydro pack, and headed back. No one I was needing to concern by water, obviously. I did stop and let the dog on the way over there because the heat, play in a couple of water ditches, listen to creeks there. And then where we turned around right there in Carlisle, there's a nice big water, little water feature, like a little, it's just a retention pond from runoff water. They planted some bog plants and stuff in by a little garden spot. Let him play in that for a little bit. He actually had a good time. He was splashing water all up on him, splashed it up on his belly and that kind of stuff. So I waited for him there a little bit, took off, started heading back, and I heard a tornado siren go off, which definitely kind of messed with my mind a little bit. And out of nowhere, actually a lady went by me and she jinxed me saying it was going to rain. I said, come on, it's not going to rain. It's getting hot as hell, and there's no way it's going to rain. And of course, that right there was enough to jinx me. The wind changed and started coming up from the opposite direction. And then again, of course, it was blowing my face on the way back, which sucks. I had a headwind the whole way there. But it started raining and the temperature dropped, I'm going to guess, about 20 degrees, maybe a little more than that even. And it got downright cold to the point where I was actually like, I would have given $100 to borrow somebody's rain jacket or pants. It was just disgusting. I ended up, everything on me was wet. I was soaking wet, started chafing in weird spots. Some spots in my arms, my nipples were chafing really bad, and my feet got wet. Ended up with some nice little blisters that have since popped and were bleeding like crazy, and that right there definitely sucked. Then of course, that right there could have been part of the reason why it sucked so much. The dog at one point decided I was trying to, I stopped to water the flowers, let's say, and he decided he wanted to head down and jump in the creek. Unfortunately, the creek was about 3 feet short, or 3 feet farther away than how long the leash was. As he went to jump over the edge of the creek, into the creek. It hit the end of the leash and knocked me down, which then in turn ranked him backwards, and he fell backwards into the creek. I fell on my ass there, knocked over. Ended up smashing up my pinky toe, my left foot, which he had twisted up on me just 2 days ago. Roughhousing and playing around, he comes sliding to the house and twists it backwards. And right now my pinky toe is actually bigger than my big toe. That thing is so swollen up and just looks, oh, it looks gross. It's almost kind of a purplish red. It's so dark red, it's almost got a bit of a purple tint to it. So that could have been part of the reason. I went ahead, heading back, like I said, the rain finally let up, finally stopped raining, it sprinkled here and there and let up. And then it turned out it got right down hot again. The wind shifted on me, so I at least had a crosswind instead of a headwind. But the heat come up, and the heat come up fast. It got hot as hell, so I was giving all my water again to my dog. I ended up running out about 2 miles out or so, which I ended up having to finish by running a few laps around the parking lot, around on the highway, because it wasn't a full 26.2 out there and back. Stopped, got some more water, watered him down again. And it was so hot on a handful of the times after I would water him, which I water him out of my hydro pack, I would actually spray him down a little bit to try and keep him cool when there was no water in a ditch for him to play with. So that might have been part of the problem. And I finally went ahead and finished up. I needed to run 26.5 to make it the longest run of my life. And I felt with everything on today, I did not deserve to make this the longest run of my life. I had to walk at parts of it. Part of it I walked because he was getting tired, he was bonking out, and I wanted him to play in the water, so we were walking along the edge of the creek, letting him play in the water. That could have been one of the reasons why it sucked. But I gotta tell you, with all those excuses and all that bullshit, the reasons why, the main reason and the only reason technically why this whole thing sucked was I was up in my head. I got in my head, I doubted myself. I ran a sub 2 hour 5K a week ago, not even 6 days ago, or not 5K, sub 2 hour half marathon. Damn, I can't even think straight. I ran a sub 2 hour half marathon at Drake less than a week ago. 6 days ago I ran the thing. I felt great. I felt like the best I'd ever run, and I clearly was not over that. And I let that get in my head, and the moment I let my mind break, I gave up mentally. It was out there by yourself. You guys don't realize, if none of you run long distances, and a marathon is a long distance. Now there's guys that run 100 miles, 135 miles, all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. But a marathon is something less than 1% of human beings will ever do. And I'm doing it out there by myself. I got my dog with me, which actually a lot of times is a hindrance. He's more of a pain in the butt. I got to slow down for him. I got to stop for him. I got to carry his water, all that kind of stuff. But he's an awesome dog. So I mean, I love him to death, and I like taking him. But I might not take him next one. Who knows what'll happen? It'll probably be hotter next month, and we'll see what happens there. But I know 100% without a doubt the reason this run sucked so bad, which if you take out the times I stopped, take care of my dog, times I stopped to refill my water, because in a race that wouldn't have happened, and the time I stopped to greet other people that wanted to meet my dog, that kind of thing, because in a race that wouldn't happen. I still came in under my best marathon time, so technically I PR'd that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to count that or not. I might not even record that as my PR, because I was so pissed off myself because I let my mind fail me. Absolutely, my mind failed me. My body was giving up, but I let my mind win this one. I feel like a total bitch. I really do. I just got destroyed mentally, and I do not deserve to make this my longest run because of how bad I felt and how much I let my mind just beat me on the whole thing. So like I said, I cut it short at 26.22 miles as opposed to running out 26.5. So overall, I probably have not been this happy to be finished with a run in a really, really long time. And it was so sad because up to like 14 mile, 15 mile, I was kicking ass. I was 17 minutes ahead of pace. I was just rocking it. I was loving it. But that rain and all that stuff just came in, and I let my mind beat me. I absolutely beat myself with my own mental lack of willpower, I guess is all I can call it. So I feel like a total loss of, I just feel like a total loser is really what I feel like. I feel like I gave this thing away. I had it all, and I blew it. I absolutely 100% blew this thing, and I'm gonna have to, get my mind straight, and I'm gonna have to not run a half marathon 6 days before my next marathon, and go out there and I gotta kick its ass. So anyway, that's all I've got for right now. So I will talk to you later. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Hit the door, lace your shoes up, hit the door, and get your run on.